I took a lot of time reading over this guide. It's not the first time Kujay has sent me a guide of his, but none were as bold as this one. You see, Kujay, like me, is a streamer primarily on weekends. We see people come in and out of our chat rooms. Some say hello, others just stop in to say good luck for the rest of the trials weekend. But a large crowd of people have been migrating to our streams. And that crowd are the people who have all but quit Destiny. Now, the instant reply you would expect from the internet is, if you don't like it, well, then move on. Nearly 3 months ago, I referenced this predicament with my own past with certain MMORPGs, the kind that had upper management override developers' wishes, or just an outright takeover from another company. I saw the signs from MMO to MMO, and what became clear to me is that no matter how big the game or community is, it can die. Today's guide, written by Kujay, is a guide we have communicated about numerous times, one of which has been discussed on stream with droves of people coming in and out. Everyone has something in Destiny's universe they hold some attachment to. For me, for us, it has always been that power fantasy, to be the wielder of light and the most feared being throughout the stars. Now, I'm not a fan of long videos, but this one will be very long. Fixing an entire game from its very core takes more than just a few minutes. If you'd rather read along or just skip over to the article itself, a Reddit link will be present below. Let's break down the bullet points of today's video though. First off, we're going to talk about weapon loadout systems. Secondly, we're going to go over subclass customization, then move on to mobility, resilience, and recovery tuning. Next, we'll go over armor loadout systems, as well as weapon modification systems, and of course, armor modification system, as that is going to need a huge tune-up as well. And lastly, guys, we're going to talk about Crucible. I know there's a lot of PvE players here as well that's wondering how this is going to affect them. I can promise you, all of the changes that we're going to be going over today will greatly benefit PvE. And there's one thing that we all believed, even back in Destiny 1, we never wanted to hurt PvE or that side of the game. The balance issues that we saw in Destiny 1 were small things like sticky grenades and, well, networking. We never intended to remove or ever have the power fantasy removed from the game. And so today's video will be focused on that, but I just wanted the PvE players to know that we definitely have this guide in mind for you as well. If you don't have enough time to listen to each one of these categories, I'll make sure to timestamp these all below. You can always just come back and watch. However, for this to make complete sense, I would highly recommend you listen to each bullet point in the order that we have listed here. So let's begin. Weapon loadout system. Effective immediately, the weapon loadout system for Destiny 2 will be changed from kinetic energy and power to the old weapon loadout system from Destiny 1, primary, special, and heavy. Almost all weapons from kinetic and energy classes will be reallocated to the new primary class. The exceptions are sidearms and the exotic grenade launcher Fighting Lion, which will be reallocated to the special class. Shotguns, snipers, fusion rifles, linear fusion rifles, and trace rifles will be reallocated to the special class. Rocket launchers, grenade launchers, and swords will be reallocated to the heavy class. Machine guns will be introduced to Destiny 2 and will reside in the heavy class. Subclass customization. Effective immediately, each subclass will no longer feature 2 attunement paths. Instead, the player will be presented with 6 new attunement paths, each of which will have 3 choices to choose from, similar to the choice between the 3 jumps and the 3 grenades we now have. The 6 new paths will be as follows: Mobility, Resilience, and Recovery Attunement 1, Mobility, Resilience, and Recovery Attunement 2, Melee Attunement, Super Attunement, Subclass Attunement 1, Subclass Attunement 2. Some of you probably understand that this is very similar to what we had in Destiny 1 with the different codexes from 1 through 6. Again, this is just another way to add in even more customization to our subclass menus. It's not as complicated as maybe what it sounds right now, especially to my new guys to Destiny 2. It's a great feature, and this is going to make even more sense as we get into the armor modifications down the list. Mobility, Resilience, and Recovery Tuning. Currently, mobility only affects base walking speed and base jump height. These benefits are subpar compared to the benefits of resilience and recovery, and thus the following changes are being made to mobility. Increased mobility now increases walking speed and sprint speed. At 10 mobility, players will see a 20% increase to sprint speed. Exotics such as Dune Marchers, Transversus Steps, and Stompies, which increase sprint speed, will stack with increasing mobility. Increased mobility now increases the reload speed of all weapons. Increased mobility now increases draw and stow speed of all weapons. Increased mobility now decreases ADS time for all weapons. Increased mobility now increases slide distance. Exotics again, such as Dune Marchers, Transversus Steps, and Stompies, which increase slide distance, will stack with increasing mobility. Increased mobility now increases the momentum of a player's jump. At 10 mobility, players will be able to Titan Skate and Warlock Skate at full D1 effectiveness. Resilience will remain unchanged from its current state. Recovery, health recovery speed will be reverted back to the system in place in D1. This means that health recovery speeds across the board will be slightly increased. Now I know there's a lot of benefits we're throwing into the mobility slot. The main thing is, whether we get all of these or not, mobility needs to be at some level beneficial. As of right now, no one uses mobility. And even in Destiny 1, as a Titan, I never even used high agility simply because that would actually mess up Titan skating. This is a method though to really benefit people that go with high mobility, making this a tough decision between resilience, recovery, and mobility. And your subclass should be full of difficult decisions. Armor loadout systems. Effective immediately, the armor perk system in D2 will no longer feature the customization of mobility, resilience, and recovery. These stats are now part of your subclass customization. Armor in Destiny 2 will now randomly roll with 2 out of 3 perks: Intellect, Discipline, and Strength. Increased Intellect will reduce the cooldown of your class ability: Titan Walls, Warlock Rifts, Hunter Dodge. Increased Discipline will reduce the cooldown of your Grenade. Increased Strength will reduce the cooldown of your Melee. Armor in D2 will be, by default, roll with a +1 point allocation to each of the 2 randomly rolled perks. The player will have a choice to then keep the even split or make either of the 2 perks become +2 while the other becomes +0. Similar to Destiny 1, Intellect, Discipline, and Strength will range from Tier 0 to Tier 5. Players will have access to a total of +10 Intellect, Discipline, and Strength points through their 5 armor pieces: helmet, gauntlets, chest, legs, and class item. Allocating more than +5 points to any stat will yield no additional reduction to cooldown. See the following sections titled Intellect, Discipline, Melee for cooldown breakdowns by tier. For Titans, increasing your Intellect stat will reduce the cooldown of your Barricade. The breakdown of cooldown reduction from Tier 0 to Tier 5 is as follows. Warlocks, increasing your Intellect stat will reduce the cooldown of your Rift. The breakdown of the cooldown reduction from Tier 0 to Tier 5 is as follows. For Hunters, increasing your Intellect stat will reduce the cooldown of your Dodge. The breakdown of the cooldown reduction from Tier 0 to Tier 5 is as follows. For all classes, increasing your Grenade stat will reduce the cooldown of your Grenade. The breakdown of the cooldown reduction from Tier 0 to Tier 5 is as follows. For all classes, increasing your Melee stat will reduce the cooldown of your Melee. The breakdown of the cooldown reduction from Tier 0 to Tier 5 is as follows. Weapon Modification System. Effective immediately, the Weapon Modification System for D2 will now feature 2 modifications that can be adhered to a gun: a base mod and a luminous mod. Base weapon mods will have 2 tiers: rare and legendary. Base weapon mods will be acquired from the gunsmith, and 3 rare base weapon mods can be converted into a legendary base weapon mod at the gunsmith. Base weapon mods will serve 2 purposes: increasing power level and altering base gun stats. Rare base weapon mods will grant +0 power. Legendary base weapon mods will grant +5 power. Base weapon mods will be able to roll with the following perks from D1: Perfect Balance, Hammer Forge, Injection Mold, Smallbore, Reinforced Barrel, Rifle Barrel, Brace Frame, Handlade Stock, Snapshot, Quick Draw. Luminous weapon mods will add a unique and powerful perk to your weapon. Luminous weapon mods will be tied to in-game activities and help to provide extended playtime for our most dedicated players. Luminous weapon mods have the chance to drop as a reward in addition to normal rewards from the following activities: Trials of the Nine, guaranteeing 1 mod per character per week for a 3-win passage, and 1 mod per character per week for a flawless passage. Raid content, guaranteeing 1 mod per character per week for first normal raid completion, and 1 mod per character per week for the first prestige raid completion. Iron Banner, guaranteed 1 mod per character for reaching 3 seasonal rank up packages, and 1 guaranteed mod per character for reaching 5 seasonal rank up packages. Nightfall Strikes, guaranteed 1 mod per character per week for first normal Nightfall Strike completion, and 1 mod per character per week for first prestigious Nightfall Strike completion. Heroic Strikes, guaranteed 1 mod per character per week after 3rd Heroic Strike completion of the week. Crucible Matches, guaranteed 1 mod per character per week after 3rd Crucible match completion of the week. Additionally, Luminous weapon mods can drop when decrypting legendary and exotic engrams, when receiving powerful engrams from milestones, and when receiving engrams from ranking up your reputation with vendors. Luminous weapon mods will be able to roll with the following perks from Destiny 1. Outlaw, Firefly, Hidden Hand, Icarus, Third Eye, Counterbalance, Life Support, Grenadier, Crowd Control, Full Auto, Knee Pads, Battle Runner, Hipfire, Underdog, Triple Tap, Army of One, Feeding Frenzy, Relentless Tracker, Reactive Reload, Hot Swap, Last Resort, Spray and Play, Rescue Mat, Mulligan, Eye of the Storm, Persistence, etc. Armor Modification System. Effective immediately, the Armor Modification System for D2 will allow for one armor mod to be applied to each piece of armor. Armor mods will be divided between each of the 5 armor slots: helmet, gauntlets, chests, legs, class item. Helmet mods will include the following possible perks from Destiny 1. Inverse Shadow, Angel of Mercy, Ashes to Assets, Infusion, Innervation, Invigoration. Gauntlet mods will include the following possible perks from Destiny 1. Primary Weapon Loader, Secondary Weapon Loader, Heavy Weapon Loader, Increased Grenade Throw Distance, Increased Melee Attack Speed, Bonus Melee Energy on Grenade Hits, Bonus Grenade Energy on Melee Hits. Chest mods will include the following possible perks from Destiny 1. Arc Armor, Arc Recovery, Void Armor, Void Recovery, Solar Armor, Solar Recovery. Leg mods will include the following possible perks from D1. Second Wind, Capture King, Last Hope, Arc Double Down, Void Double Down, Solar Double Down. Class item mods will include the following possible perks: increased reputation gains from Crucible, increased reputation gains from Vanguard, etc. for all factions in the game other than Trials, Iron Banner, and Raid. Crucible. Effective immediately, there will no longer be only quick play and competitive playlists to choose from. Social playlists will exist for Control, Clash, Supremacy, rotating weekly, and Countdown Survival, rotating weekly. Ranked playlists will exist for Control, Clash, Supremacy, rotating weekly as well, and Countdown Survival, rotating weekly. Social playlists will be prioritized only for connection-based matchmaking, and ranked playlists will be prioritized only for skill-based matchmaking. A playlist for each of the 5 game types will always be available. When Clash is the weekly social playlist, then Supremacy will be the weekly ranked playlist, and vice versa. When Countdown is the weekly social playlist, then Survival will be the weekly ranked playlist, and vice versa. Now let's talk primary weapon time to kill and effective range tuning. Effective immediately, the time to kill for a primary weapon will be reverted back to the end of D1 levels. Effective immediately, the effectiveness of range for all primary weapons will be reverted back to the end of D1 levels. Auto rifle range will be reduced to be in line with end of D1 levels. Hand cannons. Bloom has been permanently removed from hand cannons. It is not the developer's intention to restrict skill level of players by RNG accuracy. Initial accuracy of hand cannons has been brought in line with other weapons in D2. Again, restricting skill level of all players by introducing RNG accuracy is not the intent. In an effort to bring hand cannons in line with other primary weapons, time to kill for all 3 rate of fire tiers of hand cannons have been adjusted as follows. The 110 round per minute hand cannons require 1 headshot, 2 bodies for optimal time to kill. 140 round per minute hand cannons require 2 headshots, 1 body shot for optimal time to kill. 150 round per minute hand cannons require 3 headshots for optimal time to kill. Since sidearms have been reallocated to the special weapon class, the time to kill of all sidearms have been changed back to the time to kill levels for sidearms at the end of D1. Sidearms will not have a magazine of ammo upon every respawn. Sidearm ammo will behave in accordance with all of the special weapon types. Special weapon ammo acquisition and economy. Players will now start Crucible matches with a small amount of special ammo, namely 1 magazine's worth of ammo. The starting special ammo breakdown is as follows: shotgun 4 shots, fusion rifle 4 shots, linear fusion rifle 6 shots, sniper rifle 6 shots, and sidearms 1 full magazine. Players will be able to acquire more special ammo via crates in a similar fashion to D1. Upon death, players will lose all special ammo except for the equivalent starting ammo of their equipped special weapon. For example, if a player has 12 sniper shots before dying, the player will respawn with only 6 sniper rifle shots. If a player has special ammo less than or equal to the equivalent starting ammo of their equipped special weapons, that player will respawn with the same amount of special ammo that they died with. For example, if a player has 2 sniper shots before dying, the player will respawn with 2 sniper rifle shots. Heavy weapon ammo acquisition and economy. Players will start Crucible matches with no heavy ammo, just like in D1. Heavy ammo will spawn in 2 locations once per match for Control, Clash, and Supremacy playlists. Heavy ammo will spawn in 1 location per match for Countdown and Survival. In Countdown, after a team has won 3 rounds out of the required 6 to win, heavy ammo will spawn the following round. The heavy ammo will spawn in a centralized location and be available for pickup after the first 20 seconds of the round. In Survival, after a team has won 2 rounds out of the required 4 to win, heavy ammo will spawn the following round. The heavy ammo will spawn in a centralized location and be available for pickup after the first 20 seconds of the round. Players will be able to acquire heavy ammo via crates in a similar fashion to Destiny 1. With the introduction of special weapons, heavy weapons, and a faster primary weapon time to kill, it is necessary to bring the damage of grenades in line to make them an equally lethal part of a player's arsenal. Bolts, grenades, arc bolt, firebolt, axiom bolt. Damage increased to 102 points. Area of effect grenades, pulse, solar, and vortex. Solar and vortex grenades remain unchanged. Pulse grenades damage reduced to 40 points per tick. Wall grenades, lightning, trip mine, and spike. Activation delay for lightning grenades removed. Lightning grenades will now deal 112 points of damage, and the half angle of damage cone for lightning grenades has been reduced. Trip mine grenades will now deal 170 points of damage. Frag grenades, flashbang, incendiary, and suppressors. Frag grenades will now deal 160 points of damage for a direct hit. Sticky grenades, flux, fusion, magnetic. Sticky grenades will now deal 180 points of damage, and the aim assist tracking of sticky grenades has been heavily reduced. Damage increased appropriately for skip grenades, swarm grenades, storm grenades, void wall grenades, and thermite grenades. Melees. With the introduction of special weapons, heavy weapons, and a faster primary weapon time to kill, it is necessary to bring the damage of melees in line to make them an equally lethal part of a player's arsenal. Melees will now do 98 base damage for all classes. Well, guys, that is everything here with this guide in terms of revamping D2. Everything I'm pretty much mentioned in this list, guys, is stuff that aids the things that we want. You know, we want more stuff to do in terms of in-game. This is going to give back more of that in-game love there. I mean, going after specific perks is so much better than us in D1 just trying to get that RNG gun. You know, going after certain mods to go and apply to your different armor pieces is fantastic stuff and so much better than what we currently have here now with our weapon mod system and in our armor mod system. And giving our subclass menus more diversity where we actually have to sit down and make tough decisions on how we want to stand in Crucible and in PVE, that's a big deal. And that is the RPG elements that I want to see back in Destiny. Fellas, thank you so much for coming and watching. If you want to go check out the link below, guys, it'll take you to the Reddit link. You can look at it, you can check it out. I would really appreciate it if you go over there and give it an upvote, man. Jay would appreciate it, and shout out to Jay for completely writing this thing up, man. His Twitch link will be in the description below, fellas. Would very much love it if you also drop him a follow, man. Check him out on a stream. I'm sure he'll be chatting about it one day in his stream when the time comes. Guys, as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.
So let's get closer.